Hey guys, sorry I haven't been able to get around to making this video yet, but I've been busy, and also I tried recording this about 3 times, and every single time I've either forgotten to put the sound on, so I didn't end up having sound, which kind of ruined the point of this entire video, considering it is about, me talking and explaining what's happening. So, woo, I could technically just re-record it through audio and put it in post, but I don't feel like dealing with that, mostly because I feel like it is a lot more effective to go through this list visually as well as auditorily for those people who would prefer to read the actual text that is on screen as well. Okay, anyway, so let's get started. So this video is going to be a quick overview of everything that you'll need in order to start your business, including the big things like the permits, etc., etc. Actually, it's not even going to include those for this video because this video is actually going to be relatively long, 11 minutes or so, because based on every other time I've recorded it, it's been pretty long. So instead, I am actually gonna go ahead and go through this little checklist from nav.com, which seems to be pretty comprehensive in the list of things that you'll need to start your business, to actually start your business. Some of these steps aren't really quite as necessary, mostly just because of the fact that we're not starting a corporation or even a physical business with this. We're attempting to start an online business that's not even physical, and you're selling digital items which will not be physical unless you want to do prints or something like that for the most part. So some of these won't be necessary, and I'll bring attention to the ones that are and are not necessary so that you know which ones you do and do not need. Okay, so now let's go through this checklist. This 14-step checklist to making your business legit by Gary Detweiler. Alrighty, or Gary. Is her name Gary? By Jerry or Guri? I don't know how to pronounce that name. Anyway, so 1, choose a business name. I've already done that, and I will not be telling you what my name is. I know that it's available, though, because I've looked it up, and you'll want to do that before you actually decide on your business name, because odds are somebody probably already has, the same name as you if you use something I don't know, Target or Walmart or something like that, so you'll want to choose something that's nice and simple and easy to remember, but is also different from everybody else so that you can stick out. And I've already chosen my name. You guys probably know what it is, but I'm still going to be using the name that I chose. So I'm not going to, tell you guys what it is in case you guys, snipe me and decide to, and decide to take it before I have the chance to put it down legally. 2, choose your business address. So it's okay to register your business at your home address, as it says there, but you can also, if you don't want to have your home address possibly in the public domain, then you can also use a UPS store just to keep some anonymity. But yeah, the easiest way to do it is your home address if you're alright with that being in the public domain. I might end up just using a UPS store or something like that, mostly just to try and keep as much information out of the public domain as possible, even though this is going to be a legal entity, mostly just so that you guys can't dox me if anything like that happens, and I'd prefer not to, have to deal with having any of my, personal, really personal information out there. My name is fine because that's my name, and you can't really get too much off of a name, but yeah, that's about it. And then get a business phone number. This one's not entirely necessary, mostly just because of the fact that I won't be dealing with anything on the phone. The only thing that you might need it for is if somebody from the government decides to call you. Not the IRS, though, because if they call you, that's a scam. Watch out for those. That's not accurate. Don't buy into that. But yeah, so this isn't necessary. And then create your business entity. And this one starts talking about the types of, companies that you can form. So a sole proprietorship is probably the best option if you're going to be going into a business like mine, which deals specifically in art, and I am the only person that's going to be a part of it. But if you're going to have more than one person, that is not going to be a true partnership, then you'll want to probably form an LLC if you're going to be doing some simple stuff and you don't plan on sharing stocks or bonds or anything like that. I don't think bonds are part of corporation stuff, but you're not going to want to form an S or C class corporation if you have if you have no intention to sell stocks later on. So an LLC is probably going to be the best option if you're planning on going into business with like 3 or 4 of your close friends, or if you plan on having some, like, what are they called? If you're going to be planning on having some employees. But for me, sole proprietorship is probably the best option. Just keep in mind that you are married to your company, so you and your company are the same, so your debt is the same. So if you get sued, the company is also getting sued. So make sure that that is the kind of company that you would like. Whereas with a partnership, those things are actually separated between you and your partner, so both of you can take on the debt of the company, and it's not just going to be one person. And with an LLC, it's a bit more like an actual corporation, so that you can like be sued separately from your company, and there are also different tax breaks and all that stuff. But for me, sole proprietorship is going to be the best option, and probably for you as well if you're starting the same sort of company that I am. And then register your business. And then in most states, you must register with your Secretary of State. And I need to do that, and I will do that probably after this video is completed, although I do have some phone calls to make, so that'll probably be after all of that stuff. And then, yeah, so you'll just want to register your business with your Secretary of State. You might want to look up your state's regulations to see if you need it. But in most cases, you'll probably need to actually, register, because most states right there. So it might be best to do it just in case either way, if you don't find any information on whether or not you should do it. And then 6, get licenses and permits, and this will be in the next video, like all the actual licenses and permits that you need. So this one kind of depends on what county as well as what state you're in. So this will be a little bit more targeted, but there are a list of general licenses and permits that you will need for your company, depending on what sort of company that you are planning on creating and all of that stuff. And then number 7, request an employer identification number. Okay, so this one's a little bit tricky. I heard from my boss, who actually started her own business, that if you are a sole proprietor, you might not actually need an employer identification number, because there's only going to be you in the company, so you can possibly use your social security number for this. But I'll take more of a look into that on my own time, and you guys can take a look into that as well, just to see if you actually need one. Although you'll definitely need one if you're thinking about forming an LLC or anything above that. And then open a business bank account. I don't know if I'll be doing this one, but it seems like it would be helpful, because then you can take care of all of your business expenses and the such, without having to like go through your day-to-day transactional history, which would be a huge pain in the butt. And you can have more of a like concise way to like look at it. And you can also get a debit card actually for that bank account, I believe, which would make things a lot easier to keep track of. And then, like, this next one, consider getting a credit card to use for business purchases. And depending on your age, I don't know how old you have to be to actually start a company. I'm of legal age, so it doesn't matter for me. But if you are under the age of 18, this will not apply to you. And if you, let's see, or if you don't have anybody who will actually co-sign with you if you're under the age of 18, then this won't apply to you. But for me, I'm not gonna do it. Mostly just because I don't want to end up taking on more debt than I need to. I wouldn't use it either way, most likely, but it's still best for me to avoid using, even getting a credit card, because I don't want to have that debt possibility. Although, if you want to build debt, this is also a good possibility, and then a good thing to get, but it's not required. And then 10, set up your books. This will actually be a video on its own, because I want to set up a couple different spreadsheets to keep all of my things separate, like my income, like what I'm making, and then I want to also have my business expenses and a whole bunch of other stuff that I haven't entirely thought about, but I know that I'll need my income and then my business expenses at the very least. And then get a DUNS number. I'm not entirely certain if this is necessary in all states, but I will take a look. Commercial credit database. I think this might have to do with credit cards based on that statement right there, but I don't know if that's actually required. So I will take a look into that, and it's probably not entirely necessary if you're not doing like a huge corporation or a LLC or something like that. Also, by the way, one of the advantages of a sole proprietorship or partnership over an LLC is the fact that you get to do a lot less paperwork. And a sole proprietorship, I believe, actually has the least paperwork because you and your partner don't have to fill out a whole bunch of forms, and you can just use, I believe, your own taxes to report the taxes of your company. And then establish a business credit. In this case, it doesn't matter for me because I'm a sole proprietor, and your business credit is the same as your personal credit. Thankfully, I have a good credit score, and everything's fine with that, so I'm good. But just so you know, if you're going to be going up in, if you're going to be going and doing some, like, larger companies, then it'll probably be best to, to establish business credit because you can actually get it separate from your own credit so that, so that you can do the important stuff like finding somewhere to work and all that stuff if you're actually planning on going into a physical space. But for me, sole proprietorship, don't need it. Create a website. This one's going to also be its own video because it's, I believe, probably one of the more interesting parts of actually making a company. And I don't know if I'll actually be creating my own website, like, for the first time on, like, camera. But I will be doing it definitely at least off of camera and then going through how to do it. And then register your business with online services. I might do this, I might not. I'm not entirely certain. It depends on the limitations of Google. Although it would be nice to have my service pop up when you Google it. But that shouldn't be an issue if I have a website. So, yeah, we'll see about that. But yeah, that shouldn't really be much of an issue if you're doing this sort of online service stuff, because it's like you don't have first of all, you don't have a physical location, you don't have a phone number, so two of the reasons why people would look you up. Oh, and you also don't even have like business hours. So it's the reasons that people would look you up are slim when it comes to this, and it's more just a easier way for people to find you and like see like, oh hey, that's this, cool. But yeah, and I wouldn't have any physical, any actual pictures of my location because that'd be stupid, so it's kind of a bit of a waste to put it on Google and to have to deal with all of that. But yeah, so that's generally what you'll need to get started. And in the next video, I'm going to be going over the licenses and permits, and between that video and this one, I will be filling out my own. And just a quick warning, you will actually have to get some of these notarized by a notary if you want to actually file them, which is going to be fun, but as I said, I'll be doing that off camera, mostly because I have to go in and physically do that. But you might want to actually call your local bank, or the bank that you use, and see if they have a notary system or a notary in place for their members. Fortunately, mine does, and some people, I heard from my dad that some of the banks actually will waive the notary fee if you are a member at their bank, which is pretty nice. So yeah, that's a general overview of everything that you'll need to get started. And thanks for joining me on this journey, and I'll see you guys in the next video about licenses and permits. So, one more fun video, and then we get to the really fun stuff. So, thank you for watching, have a nice day, and like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and see you guys in the next one. Bye!